used to take long walks in Silver... Olive.
Oh, you're here! I was just starting to wonder if I should send you clearer instructions. But then I thought, if I make my hints too obvious, it might get in the way of your travel plans. And then, just as I was pacing back and forth, agonizing over what I was going to do, you turned up here anyway. So, it looks like everything worked out fine.
Hey, Nicole! You're so full of energy today! And words! You're so full of words!
I'll take that as a compliment. All right then, are you ready to check out my next room?
Is this Nicole's studio? Why is it just a bunch of empty frames on white walls? Let's take a closer look. What the? Paimon almost had a heart attack being sucked in by a painting like that. Wait a sec. This place looks familiar. Oh, it's the table where the mages hold their tea parties.
It all started the first time Alice invited me for tea. On that day, I didn't attend in person, mostly because back then, I still hadn't decided whether I really wanted to join the Hexen Circle or not. Alice was the only one there who knew my true identity. She warned me not to say a word or let anyone else discover who I was. I was only supposed to observe.
And then what happened?
Well, then I concluded that she was punishing me for my hesitation to join. Everyone was talking about such interesting things. How could I not chime in? And of course, when you're in the middle of a conversation and someone throws out a question you know the answer to, how are you supposed to keep your mouth shut? Which brings us to the bet between Barbeloth and Alice, Rhindaughter's forbidden creations, Ivanovna's political machinations. It was like a series of exquisitely acted plays, distilled within the confines of a teacup. Their words alone were enough to ignite my instinct to lay the truth bare before them.
So, you piped up inside their heads?
Of course not. Even though I felt like my head was going to explode, I still made sure to hold it all in. I'm a responsible angel, after all. And I'm well aware of the difference between what I want to say and what I'm allowed to say. So, I had a private little word with Alice inside her head, just me and her, and I agreed to join the Hexen Circle, right there and then. She was quite happy about my decision, but as for the talking inside her head, well, she claims that over the next few days, she had such a headache that she had to visit a doctor in Liyue to get some relief. But she can hardly blame me for that.
How about we go look at the other frames? Paimon's starting to feel like she needs some relief, too.
This painting here? You're clearly no strangers to the white trees. But did you know that the first angel's betrayal happened beneath one of their very boughs?
Huh. Paimon's curious now.
Well then, I guess it's finally time for me to tell you a tale of romance and horror. Let me just think how best to protect the identity of those involved. Alright, got it. A long, long time ago, there was once a traveler who wandered among the stars. They were nothing like you, but that's not important right now. One day, he traveled to a silver tree to visit the princess of the morning star. Before long, he started asking her about her kingdom's most forbidden secrets. His words puzzled the princess. How could he possibly know of all these things forbidden by the gods? The young man revealed his origins and showed the princess things she had never seen before: a free will and love, both noble and spiritual. His words awakened her sense of self, hitherto shackled by the gods. Her heart soared, carrying her beyond limits she had never crossed before. The princess of the morning star confided the kingdom's secrets to the youth, and between them, love grew and blossomed, along with a determination to defy the gods.
This is just a cookie-cutter love story. You said there'd be horror.
Don't worry, Paimon. The horror's about to begin. They yearned to help the people live lives of unfettered freedom, but the gods could not forgive their betrayal. They sent down thunder and fury, destroying the lovers' home. And when the Great War subsided, the power and the wisdom of the princess were lost, never to return. Even her closest friends were cursed.
Yeah. That ending was pretty scary after all. But didn't you say you were going to tell us about the first angel? And you're not saying this story's actually true, are you?
It sure is. And that's the scariest part.
Novels from Yai Publishing House all over the floor?
Well, on the subject of my literary enlightenment, my greatest inspiration of all is she was the last to join the Hexenzirkel, and yet the first to leave. I loved all of her stories, whether it was just an idea or a fully fleshed out manuscript. Anya was always so skilled at making her readers gasp with joy. Hexenzirkel discussions rarely stray far from magic, and it's my belief that Anya possessed a unique magic of her own. She could weave love and compassion into words and stories that would touch the hearts of others. I asked her for tips on how to write compelling tales. She taught me a lot of tricks and techniques. But in the end, my biggest enemy has always been myself. That's one way of putting it. Communicating through thought is so much more convenient. I guess even angels can succumb to laziness. However, recently I've resolved to make an effort, even if it's just to spare myself reproaches from a certain old Seelie friend of mine.
Does that mean we're finally gonna get to read something you've written?
Who said anything about writing? I'm talking about buying popular works from the last few centuries to flip through in my spare time. These paintings all remind me of places that hold great significance in my heart. And now, the studio has been fully restored. All right, go ahead and claim our reward. What? Don't look at me like that. Of course this reward is ours. You're not going to leave this chest unopened, are you? I can't let you leave if you do. Besides, after telling you so many stories, don't I deserve a reward of my own? A happy story all wrapped up. See you next time. Come to think of it, this Mage's Lodge holds a special significance for me, too. A painting within a house within a painting, worlds within worlds. Fascinating, isn't it?
Would you like to go moongaze?
Add Astro.
Here you go, Lady Nefer. The book you were looking for.
Let me see. Would you look at that? Finally, an actual copy of The Man Who Became a Mule.
Yeah! Nefer doesn't seem like the kind of person who takes commissions. More like the kind who dishes them out. Hey! If you start taking work from Nefer, there'll be none left for Yehoda! Still, what sort of job is Nefer delegating to the Adventurers Guild? Paimon's kinda curious.
Not bad. This is exactly what I was looking for. The Adventurers Guild must have quite the impressive network tracking down a long-lost story like this.
Well, that's all thanks to our hard-working adventurers. There were quite a few setbacks along the way, but in the end, We managed to find a collector in Snezhnaya who had a copy.
How ironic that a story about the desert would end up somewhere like Snezhnaya. Well, thank you for your efforts. I'll send over the payment as promised. Also, Mr. Sarin, please keep this commission active and raise its priority level. I'll cover the additional fee as well.
Not a problem. It's our honor to do business with you, Lady Nefer. If you'll excuse me, I'll go get everything sorted.
My business is done, you two. You can come out and ask your questions. I know you're curious.
You even heard what Paimon said? Huh. Guess that's what makes you the boss.
Something like that. It's more like a long-term partnership I have with the Adventurers Guild. Come, let's head back to the Curatorium for a cup of tea. This isn't the best place for sharing stories.
Looks like you handled the commission without a hitch. Thank you, Miss Yehoda. Here is your payment.
See? Told you'd be fine. Not a bad payout either. Got any more quick Mora jobs like that?
I can certainly take a look. One moment, please.
Isn't that... Hey! Catherine! Was that pendant over there used for posting a bounty?
It was indeed. You certainly have a sharp eye, Miss Yehoda. Mr. Ihanti left it as collateral for a bounty request.
In that case, I'll take that one. Just give me the deets.
The only thing is, the reward for that one isn't all that high, and nowadays, pieces like this are not worth much either. I'm not sure it's the kind of job you're after, Miss Yehoda.
No worries. I'll take it. Let's call it a bit of charity work on the side. Gotta build up some good karma once in a while, huh?
Very well then. Please, wait a moment.
I mean, it's not like I've got much else to do right now. Can't just sit around playing with Ashru all day, can I? Boss Neff to boot me out in no time. Now that you're here... Traveler, Paimon, you two are pretty handy. Wanna join forces on this one? We could split the reward. A commission, huh? You better ask her. She's the expert, after all. Bet you it's nothing major. Trust me. Ihanti's way too much of a scaredy cat for it to be about anything serious.
Miss Yehoda, here are the details of Mr. Ihanti's commission.
Alrighty, let's see what that little whip's gone and... What's up? Please don't say it's something super difficult. Nah, nothing like that. Just didn't expect a guy who couldn't even bring himself to hurt a fly to go posting life or death commissions like this. You? Sure. Couldn't be more by the book if you tried, huh? Relax. I'm just messing with you. It only mentions retrieving something from a bunch of crooks. To a crook, money is life. And life is money. That makes it a matter of life or death. Am I right? Come on, follow me. Pretty sure I can handle those punks by myself. Odds are, you won't even have to lift a finger.
Huh. Looks like Yehoda's not back yet. Wait here. I'll go brew some tea.
Who's a good kitty? Come on, shake.
All right, help yourselves. Cream and sugar is over there if you need it. Looks like Ashrew's taken a real liking to you. Back when I first brought him home, he was as fierce as a little lion. He didn't let anyone get close except for me. Anybody else who tried would have his little fangs and claws to contend with.
Seriously? You'd never guess he used to be aggressive.
That was a long time ago, when the two of us had just arrived in Nodcry. Back then, we had no one to rely on but ourselves, and to survive in a place like Nodcry, we had no choice but to bare our claws and teeth. Of course, things are different now. Anyway, it's about time we satisfied that curiosity of yours. I'm guessing you want to know more about my long-term partnership with the Adventurers Guild?
You mean like some kind of extra special treasure even Nefer can't get her hands on?
It's special, no doubt about that. But whether it counts as treasure, well, that depends on how you see it. Here, this is the book I asked the Adventurers Guild to find for me. Take a look.
Oh, it's like a fairy tale from Sumeru. Uh-oh, not another riddle-filled treasure hunt. Well, have fun. Paimon's gonna sit this one out.
Relax. It's just a story passed down among the desert dwellers of Sumeru. There's no secret treasure and no hidden riddles. The only reason I went to such lengths to find it is because it has to do with my father. That's right. From what you've seen before, you no doubt remember the fate that befell us. Before he brought back those so-called spoils of war, before our little village ended up buried under the desert sands, he used to tell me stories. You know what Sumeru was like back then. Tales like these, stories full of wisdom and warmth, were something only the lucky few living in the rainforests got to hear. But for the desert dwellers, cut off from civilization by the wall of Samiel, wisdom and warmth were luxuries we couldn't afford. The stories passed down in the desert had one purpose and one alone: to teach children how to survive. In desert tales, people who waste food get turned into scorpions. Those who waste water end up losing their tongues. The stories taught us to be kind, but to be scarce with our trust. To lie and deceive as long as we didn't get caught. But I suppose my father didn't want me to turn out like everyone else. He would take these stories and change them, imbue them with more warmth. In the versions he told, liars turned into mules, killers fell off cliffs, but picky children ended up with a toothache at most.
Paimon kinda gets where he was coming from. After all, who doesn't want to see their kids grow up with the right values?
Me? I couldn't get enough of them. I'd spend my days counting down the minutes to nightfall, when Dad would lull me to sleep with another one of his stories. Then, come daytime, I'd grab his storybook and go tell them to the other kids. They were so envious of me. No matter where I went, there was always a line of kids trailing behind me. They would do whatever I asked, just for the chance to hear a story. And then, one day, it all came to an end. And now, all that remains of those times is buried under the sand. My father, my friends, my tribe, and all those stories too. After that, I went to the academia. It was there that I first discovered the original versions of some of his stories. In those versions, the liars were never punished. The murderers walked free. After all, if you fall for a lie, you deserve to be deceived. If the blade is in your hand, you get to write the rules. And picky children? They ended up just like the ones who wasted water, turned into lizards, doomed to spend the rest of their days crawling under the rocks. Only then did I realize that it was my father who'd been deceiving me all along, weaving a false world of warmth to shelter me from the harsh realities of the world. But once my father was gone, that world collapsed with him, and I had no choice but to face the truth. Luckily, though, I was a quick learner. Before long, I'd turned into exactly the kind of desert dweller he'd worked so hard to keep me from becoming. After that, it was all lies, deceit, revenge, and ruin. Themes that have played out in the desert 1,000 times over. But I'm sure you know that all too well. More or less. I just want to know exactly how many lies a father might tell his own daughter. As the only person in this world he ever deceived so completely, I suppose I owe it to him to make an equally comprehensive record of his distortions. Besides, anonymity seems a cruel fate for such a prolific twister of the truth. Anyway, I'm sure Thoth, the Ibis King, would approve of what I'm doing. After all, he was the one who sent me in search of something that could discern truth from falsehood. When I was young, the stories my father told me shaped my understanding of the world. Whereas their original endings, Well, they taught me what this world is really like. And it's true. For me, they really did help me discern truth from falsehood. I figured that gathering them up might be the key to finding the answer the Ibis King was looking for. So, after I established myself in Nodcry, I started using every available channel to track down the stories my father once told me. The problem was, nearly all of them were folk tales, parables passed down in the desert through word of mouth. Very few were ever written down. But living all the way out here in Nodcry, it wasn't like I could just go wandering around the desert to find those who still remembered them. As for Yehoda, well, I was short on manpower as it was, so I needed a different plan. And considering the countless adventurers at their disposal, I decided to strike up a long-term partnership with the Adventurers Guild. They bring me stories passed down among the desert people. I pay them accordingly, and sometimes even do them a little favor in return. Mr. Sauron was more than happy with my terms, so we soon came to an understanding. And from the way things have been going, I'd say our arrangement has worked out rather well. Well, this was the very last story my father ever told me. The only one whose ending he left unchanged. A man who spent his life distorting the truth, buried under the desert sand the one time he chose not to lie. And look, it even says, deep down, his was a heart of gold. And that is the greatest wisdom of all. How ironic is that? Anyway, I can make a copy of this story if you're interested. And I just realized, you're an adventurer too, aren't you, traveler? Well, being an adventurer means you've traveled far and wide, and seen many things. I was just thinking, we could sign an agreement for a long-term partnership of our own. If you ever come across any stories about the desert dwellers of Sumeru, bring them to me, and I'll make it worth your while.
Wait, was that your goal this whole time? Just to ask us that?
Wonderful. Then here's to a long and fruitful partnership. And speaking of partnerships, why isn't Yehoda back yet? Was that job I gave her really that difficult?